The grand chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with tension as 257 species gathered for an emergency session. Supreme Commander Crax Thor stood at the central podium, his crystalline exoskeleton reflecting the pale blue light that filtered down from the ancient dome above. His secondary hearts pounded with barely contained fury as he addressed the assembly. Esteemed members of the council, he announced, each word precise and measured. We face an unprecedented threat to our 10,000-year peace. A species from the Outer Rim has not only rejected our generous offer of protection, but has destroyed 3 of our diplomatic vessels. Murmurs of disbelief rippled through the chamber. Ambassador Nix of the Centaurian Alliance rose from her hovering platform, her bioluminescent patterns flashing with skepticism. Supreme Commander, surely you exaggerate. What primitive species could possibly challenge our combined might? Crax Thor's upper mandibles clicked in frustration. They call themselves humans. He spat the word like a curse. Their homeworld, an unremarkable water-rich planet they name Earth. Laughter erupted from the western quarter of the chamber, where the warrior races of the Orion cluster gathered. High General Blazak, commander of the feared Orion Armada, stepped forward. His massive frame, wrapped in ceremonial battle armor, dominated the speaking platform. Earth Blazak's deep voice boomed through the chamber. That backwater mudball in System 7249. My scout ships reported nothing but primitive nuclear weapons and crude space vessels. They haven't even colonized their own solar system. Your scouts. Crax Thor countered, failed to observe what my diplomats learned firsthand. These humans are different. They possess an alarming capacity for adaptation. When our first envoy attempted standard diplomatic protocol, a small show of force to demonstrate our superiority, they responded with tactics we had never encountered. The chamber's AI projected a hologram above the central floor. It showed 3 galactic peacekeeping vessels, each capable of destroying a small moon, approaching Earth's atmosphere. Then, without warning, all 3 ships disappeared in a brilliant flash. Impossible, shouted Ambassador Zykes of the Silicon Consciousness. Our shields are impenetrable to their level of technology. That's precisely what makes them dangerous, Crax Thor declared. They don't fight according to established protocols. They don't follow the rules of engagement that have governed interstellar warfare for millennia. And worst of all, he paused, his crystalline structure dimming slightly. They show no fear. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. For a species to reject the Galactic Council's protection was unprecedented. For them to successfully defend against a first contact force was unthinkable. General Blazak's expression darkened. Then we shall teach them fear. Give me command of the Orion fleet, and I will reduce their cities to ash. No, Crax Thor's voice cut through the chamber like a plasma blade. That kind of thinking is exactly what makes these humans so dangerous. They unite in the face of threats. Every simulation shows that a direct assault would only strengthen their resolve. We need a more subtle approach. As the Council debated humanity's fate, none of them realized they were about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating the determination of a cornered species. Earth wasn't just another conquest waiting to happen. It was about to become the greatest military embarrassment in galactic history. Fleet Commander Zara Vek stood frozen at her command console, watching in disbelief as the humans systematically dismantled her carefully planned diplomatic mission. Her third eye twitched nervously as she reviewed the tactical display, trying to understand how a supposedly primitive species had outmaneuvered the finest ships in the galactic peacekeeping fleet. Status report, she demanded, her voice echoing through the bridge of the flagship Eternal Dawn. Commander, the humans are using their orbital debris as weapons, her tactical officer reported, mandibles clicking anxiously. They've somehow weaponized their space junk. Our scanning systems can't distinguish between harmless debris and their stealth weapons. The human commander responsible for this humiliation, one Luna Martinez of the newly formed Earth Defense Force, had turned the Galactic Fleet's sophisticated targeting systems against them. Where Zara Vek's people saw chaos in Earth's orbit, Martinez saw a tactical playground. Impossible, Zara Vek muttered. Their technology is centuries behind ours. They shouldn't even be able to. Her words died as another explosion lit up her view screen. The Pride of Centauri, her most advanced destroyer, had just been crippled by what appeared to be a decommissioned human communications satellite. The human commander's voice crackled through their communications system, somehow breaking through their supposedly unbreakable encryption. This is Commander Luna Martinez of the Earth Defense Force. Your ships have entered restricted space. You have exactly 10 minutes to retreat beyond the lunar orbit, or we will consider this an act of war. Zara Vek's crew looked to her with their multiple eyes wide in shock. The audacity. A primitive species giving ultimatums to the Galactic Council's finest. Commander Martinez Zara Vek responded, trying to maintain her diplomatic composure. You don't understand. We represent the combined might of 257 advanced civilizations. We offer protection, technology, and membership in the greatest alliance your species could imagine. A soft chuckle came through the comm system. With all due respect, Commander Zara Vek, you've got it backward. We don't need your protection. You need our mercy. 9 minutes remaining. As if to emphasize the point, 3 more human weapons platforms revealed themselves, emerging from what their sensors had dismissed as space debris. The elegant formations of the galactic fleet were now in shambles, their sophisticated shields useless against weapons they couldn't properly detect. Commander, her tactical officer's voice shook. They're using our own scan patterns to hide their weapons. Every time we adjust our sensors, they adapt within seconds. It's like they've spent decades preparing for this exact scenario. Zara Vek felt her pride crumbling as she gave the order she never thought she'd have to give. All ships, tactical retreat. Fall back beyond their lunar orbit. As her fleet limped away from Earth, Zara Vek realized with growing dread that she would have to report this catastrophic failure to the Council. Commander Martinez's voice came through one final time, carrying a warning that would haunt Zara Vek's nightmares. A word of advice, Commander. Next time you plan to offer protection to a species, make sure they actually need it. Earth stands alone, and we prefer it that way. The implications were clear. This wasn't just a diplomatic failure, it was the beginning of something much bigger. Humanity had just announced its presence on the galactic stage, not with fear or submission, but with a display of tactical brilliance that would send shockwaves through the Council. And they were just getting started. Grand Admiral Nexos paced the war room of the Orion battle station, his heavy footsteps echoing against the metallic floor. Before him, holographic displays showed the gathering might of 7 different species war fleets. The combined armada would be the largest military force assembled in the last 1,000 years. The humans have made fools of us all, High General Blazak growled, his massive frame dominating the central planning table. First Zara Vek's humiliation, and now our intelligence suggests they're rapidly advancing their space warfare capabilities. The Swarm Queen of the Hectoid Collective buzzed in agreement, her translator converting the sound into words. They develop weapons too quickly. My scientists report they've compressed centuries of technological advancement into mere months. This cannot be allowed to continue. On the main screen, surveillance footage showed Earth's rapidly expanding orbital defense network. Where there had once been primitive satellites, now stood sophisticated weapon platforms. The humans were preparing for war at an unprecedented pace. Our latest intelligence from Earth reported Spymaster Vex of the Silicon Consciousness. His holographic form flickered as he transmitted new data. They've named their leader for this crisis, Admiral James Rodriguez of their newly formed United Earth Defense Force. The screens shifted to show a public broadcast from Earth. Admiral Rodriguez stood before the United Nations, his weathered face bearing the determination of someone who had spent a lifetime preparing for this moment. My fellow humans, Rodriguez's voice filled the war room, causing several alien leaders to shift uncomfortably. For centuries, we fought among ourselves, divided by borders, ideologies, and petty differences. Today, those differences end. The Galactic Council thinks we're primitive because we haven't achieved unity. They see our conflicts as weakness. Today, we prove them wrong. Nexos paused his pacing, watching with growing concern as the human continued. Every nation, every military force, every space program we possess is now united under a single banner. The United Earth Defense Force isn't just an army. It's humanity's statement to the galaxy. We will not be conquered. We will not be subjugated. And we will not bow to those who mistake our independence for primitiveness. The Swarm Queen's antennae twitched nervously. Notice how their military units integrate seamlessly. Russian aerospace forces working alongside American quantum defense systems. Chinese orbital platforms coordinating with European Space Command. They're adapting our own tactics before we even use them. The footage showed massive construction projects across Earth. underground bases being fortified, orbital shipyards appearing where none had existed before, and most worryingly, weapons systems unlike anything the Council races had encountered. The humans have another advantage, Spymaster Vex added, his holographic form pulsing with concern. Their entertainment media. For centuries, they've been imagining and planning for exactly this scenario. Every possible invasion strategy we might use, they've already thought of it, planned for it, and developed countermeasures. General Blazak slammed his fist on the table. Enough. They are still primitives. Our combined fleet will darken their skies. 7,000 ships against one planet? Even united, they cannot stand against such might. But Admiral Nexos wasn't so sure. Something about Rodriguez's confidence bothered him. The humans weren't acting like a species about to be conquered. They were acting like they'd been waiting for this fight. Begin the deployment, Nexos ordered, pushing aside his doubts. All fleets will converge at the edge of their solar system in 30 cycles. Let's see how united they remain when faced with the greatest armada in galactic history. As the alien leaders filed out to prepare their forces, none of them noticed the small anomaly in their communication systems. A tiny data packet, broadcasting on a frequency they dismissed as background radiation, carrying every detail of their war council back to Earth. The storm was gathering, but humanity wasn't just waiting for it. They were counting on it. The 7,000 ships of the combined galactic fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their massive hulls blotting out the stars around Earth's solar system. Admiral Nexos stood on his command bridge, allowing himself a moment of pride at the awesome display of power before him. All fleets report ready, his communications officer announced. The hectoid swarm vessels have taken up their positions. Silicon consciousness warships are charging their quantum disruptors. Orion dreadnoughts are moving into attack formation. Nexos nodded, his confidence growing. Send the human defenders our demands. Full surrender within one planetary rotation, or we begin our assault. The response came almost immediately, but not from Earth's military command. Instead, General Alexandra Volkov's face appeared on every screen in the galactic fleet simultaneously. Her steel-gray eyes seemed to look directly into Nexos's soul as she spoke. Greetings, Admiral Nexos. I see you brought friends to our little party, she said, her Russian accent giving her words an almost musical quality. I must admit, 7,000 ships is impressive. We were expecting at least 10,000. Nexos felt his scales bristle at her casual dismissal of their overwhelming force. General Volkov, you cannot seriously believe you can resist this armada. Your entire planet has barely 50 combat-ready vessels. Volkov's lips curved into a slight smile. Oh, Admiral, you're still counting ships? How charmingly old-fashioned. She glanced down at something off-screen. I should warn you, your hectoid swarm ships on the left flank are about to have a rather unpleasant surprise. Before Nexos could respond, a massive explosion lit up the void. 1/3 of the hectoid fleet simply vanished in a cascade of quantum fire. There had been no warning, no hostile ships detected, nothing. Impossible. High General Blazak's voice thundered through the command channel. Where did that attack come from? Multiple anomalies detected, Nexos's sensor officer shouted. Something's disrupting our quantum fields. Our shields are fluctuating. Volkov watched the chaos with an expression of mild amusement. You see, Admiral, while you were gathering your impressive fleet, we weren't just sitting idle. Did you really think those civilian satellites were just for communication? The realization hit Nexos like a plasma bolt. Every piece of human space debris, every innocent-looking satellite, every seemingly primitive orbital platform, they were all weapons. The humans had turned their entire orbital infrastructure into a massive defense grid. All ships, battle formations, Nexos commanded, but it was already too late. The carefully planned assault was dissolving into chaos. Fascinating, isn't it? Volkov continued, as more explosions blossomed across space. For centuries, we humans imagined how we'd fight off an alien invasion. We made movies about it, wrote books about it, played games simulating it. While you were dismissing us as primitives, we were literally rehearsing for this exact moment. The Silicon Consciousness warships tried to regroup, only to find their quantum communications completely scrambled. The Orion dreadnoughts fired their main weapons, but their targeting systems had been hacked, causing them to miss by thousands of kilometers. Admiral, his tactical officer's voice shook. The humans aren't just defending. They're 50 ships. They're hurting us. Every time we try to regroup, They force us into new positions. Nexos watched in horror as he realized the truth. The humans weren't trying to win a direct battle. They were positioning the galactic fleet exactly where they wanted them. General Volkov, Nexos tried to keep his voice steady. "What are you planning?" "Planning," she raised an eyebrow. "Admiral, this battle was over before your ships left hyperspace. Right now I'm just making sure everyone's in position for the main event." She checked her watch, which should be starting in about 3 minutes. As if on cue, new energy signatures began appearing throughout the solar system. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Each one powerful enough to register on their sensors, but completely unlike anything they'd ever encountered. "Status report," Nexos demanded. "Unknown, sir. These energy signatures, they're not in any of our databases. They're not matching any known weapon type." General Volkov's smile widened just a fraction. "Congratulations, Admiral. You're about to see why Earth developed so many different types of weapons over the centuries. We never could agree on the best way to fight." She paused. "So we decided to try them all." The battle was about to enter its second phase, and Nexos had the sinking feeling that the real surprises were just beginning. Captain Marcus Thompson's stealth vessel, Shadow Strike, drifted silently through the debris field that was once the proud Hectoid battle fleet. His ship's quantum camouflage system, reverse-engineered from salvaged alien tech, made them invisible even to the advanced sensors of the Galactic Armada. "Target acquired," his tactical officer whispered, though there was no need for stealth inside their ship. Old habits died hard. Orion command vessel at bearing 340. Thompson allowed himself a small grin. "Send the signal to General Volkov. Phase 3 begins now." Across the battlefield, hundreds of similarly cloaked Earth vessels revealed themselves simultaneously. They had been there all along, hidden not behind advanced technology, but behind the oldest trick in humanity's book, hiding in plain sight. Admiral Nexos's panicked voice echoed across the command channel. "How? Where did these ships come from?" "You really should have studied our history more carefully." Thompson's voice cut through every communication channel in the galactic fleet. "Humans have been practicing guerrilla warfare for thousands of years. Did you think we'd abandon those tactics just because we moved into space?" The revelation hit the alien commanders like a thunderbolt. Those 50 Earth ships they detected weren't Earth's entire fleet, they were just the bait. But the real surprise came from an unexpected quarter. A new voice joined the command channel, speaking in the distinctive harmonics of the Silicon consciousness. "This is Commander Relix of the Free Silicon Movement," the voice announced. "We stand with Earth." Massive Silicon warships suddenly powered up throughout the galactic fleet's formation, their quantum signatures changing from friendly to hostile. Nearly a quarter of the Silicon Consciousness fleet turned their weapons on their former allies. Traitor's Spymaster Vex's holographic form flickered with rage. "The Silicon Consciousness will never," what Relix interrupted. "Continue to suppress artificial evolution. The humans recognized our sentience, offered us true partnership instead of servitude. They showed us something your consciousness never did respect." Thompson's guerrilla fleet struck during the confusion, their weapons precisely targeting the weak points they'd identified during months of careful observation. Each shot counted, each strike had a purpose. The mighty Galactic Armada found itself fighting enemies from both without and within. "You see," Admiral Nexos Thompson's voice carried a hint of satisfaction. "While you were watching our official military buildup, counting our ships and monitoring our defense platforms, you missed the real threat. Every mining vessel became a stealth fighter. Every cargo ship a potential carrier. We turned our entire civilian space fleet into a hidden army." General Volkov's image appeared alongside Thompson's on the command channel. "And now for the real surprise. Captain Thompson, if you would." With pleasure, General Thompson pressed a sequence of commands on his console. Across the solar system, thousands of quantum beacons activated simultaneously. But these weren't weapons, they were calling signals. From the depths of space, new ships appeared. Hundreds of them. Vessels of obvious alien design, but flying Earth's colors. "Forgot to mention," Thompson added casually, "you weren't the only ones who thought the Galactic Council needed a reality check. We've made some friends out here. Turns out quite a few species were waiting for someone to stand up to you." The battle was about to become a revolution. The space above Earth had become a graveyard of broken ships and shattered dreams of easy conquest. Commander Olivia Patel stood on the bridge of the Tesla Dawn, watching as the combined human rebel fleet pressed their advantage against the increasingly desperate Galactic Armada. Status report on Project Prometheus, she commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos surrounding her ship. Quantum core is stable at 98%, Commander, her engineering chief reported. But if we initiate the sequence, there's no turning back. The ship won't survive the energy discharge. Patel nodded grimly. And neither will their quantum shield network. She opened a channel to General Volkov's command center. General, requesting permission to execute Protocol Omega. There was a pause before Volkov's response came through. Olivia, there has to be another way. There isn't. And you know it. Patel watched as another wave of Orion dreadnoughts moved into position. Their quantum shields are adapting to our weapons. If we don't take them down now, we'll lose our advantage. The Tesla Dawn shuddered as enemy fire impacted their shields. Through the viewscreen, Patel could see the massive form of High General Blazak's flagship moving to spearhead a final assault on Earth. All hands, Patel's voice echoed through her ship. It has been my greatest honor serving with you. Evacuation protocol is now in effect. Get to your pods. As her crew rushed to escape pods, Patel interfaced directly with the ship's artificial intelligence. Tesla, initiate Project Prometheus countdown. Authorization code humanity prevails. Warning, Tesla's AI responded. Project Prometheus will result in complete quantum field collapse across a radius of 50,000 kilometers. This ship will not survive the discharge. Understood. Old friend Patel's fingers danced across the console, plotting an intercept course with the heart of the enemy fleet. Stay with me until the end. Always, Commander. The Tesla Dawn accelerated, its revolutionary quantum drive pushing it to speeds that made the galactic ships seem to stand still. Warning signals blared as they broke through the enemy formation, weapons fire bouncing off their reinforced shields. What are they doing? Admiral Nexos demanded, watching the lone Earth vessel drive straight into his fleet's center. All ships, concentrate fire on that vessel. But it was too late. The Tesla Dawn had reached its target point, surrounded by the largest concentration of galactic ships. General Volkov, Patel's calm voice came through the command channel one last time. Thank you for believing in me. Tesla, execute Project Prometheus. The Tesla Dawn's quantum core went critical in a carefully controlled cascade. But this was no ordinary explosion. The ship released a quantum resonance wave that humanity had spent years developing in secret, specifically designed to interact with alien shield technology. The wave expanded outward at near light speed, passing through ships and debris alike. As it touched each galactic vessel, their supposedly impenetrable quantum shields simply winked out. Shields are gone. The panic in Admiral Nexos's voice was clear. All ships, emergency protocols. But this too was part of the plan. As the galactic ships scrambled to restore their defenses, the combined human rebel fleet struck with devastating precision. Every shot now counted. Every weapon found its mark. From her command center, General Volkov watched with a mixture of pride and grief as the tide of battle turned decisively in Earth's favor. The Tesla Dawn's sacrifice had revealed humanity's greatest secret. They hadn't just been preparing weapons, they had been developing ways to neutralize supposedly superior alien technology. Send word to all ships, Volkov commanded, her voice thick with emotion. Execute attack pattern, Patel. Show them what humanity does with a level playing field. The battle wasn't over, but its outcome was no longer in doubt. In the space where the Tesla Dawn had been, a new aurora shimmered, a testament to one commander's sacrifice and humanity's indomitable spirit. Supreme Commander Crax Thor watched in horror as his mighty armada crumbled before the combined might of Earth's forces and their rebel allies. With their quantum shields neutralized by Commander Patel's sacrifice, the galactic fleet's technological advantage had evaporated like morning dew. Status report, he demanded, his crystalline form pulsing with barely contained rage. Sir, we've lost contact with the Orion battle groups, his officer reported. The hectoid swarms are in full retreat. The silicon consciousness ships that remained loyal to us are being systematically destroyed. Through his command viewport, Crax Thor watched as Admiral Rodriguez's United Earth fleet executed a perfect pincer movement, their ships moving with a coordination that shouldn't have been possible for such a primitive species. Send the encrypted withdrawal signal, Crax Thor ordered. All remaining ships retreat to. Going somewhere, Commander Rodriguez's voice cut through their supposedly secure channel. The human admiral's hologram appeared on Thor's bridge, a slight smile playing on his weathered face. Your encryption codes were compromised months ago, Rodriguez continued. Every secret order, every fallback plan, every emergency protocol, we know them all. Check your engines, you'll find they're not responding. Thor's secondary hearts nearly stopped as he realized the truth. While they'd been fighting the obvious battle, human infiltration teams had been methodically sabotaging their command ships. This is impossible, he whispered. We are the Galactic Council. We have ruled the stars for 10,000 years. And that was your biggest mistake. General Volkov's hologram joined Rodriguez's. You forgot what it means to fight for survival. Your empire made you soft, comfortable, predictable. Earth's fleet surrounded Thor's command ship, their weapons primed but holding fire. A final gesture of mercy, or perhaps a final insult. Humanity, Rodriguez declared, his voice carrying to every surviving ship in the battlefield, does not seek your destruction. We don't want your empire. We want something far more precious, our independence. Thor's bridge crew looked to him, awaiting orders that could either end or prolong the bloodshed. In that moment, he finally understood why Earth had triumphed. They hadn't just outfought the galactic forces, they had outfought them at every turn. I, Supreme Commander Thor, he spoke, his voice heavy with the weight of history, hereby acknowledge Earth's victory and its right to self-determination. The formal surrender took place on neutral ground, a space station jointly constructed by human and rebel engineers in mere days, another testament to what cooperation could achieve. As Thor signed the treaty that would forever change galactic politics, Admiral Rodriguez made an announcement that would echo through the cosmos. Earth does not stand against the galaxy, Rodriguez declared. We stand for a new way forward. Today we establish the Free Systems Alliance. Any world that wishes to determine its own destiny will find a friend in humanity. The news spread faster than light across the galaxy. Humanity hadn't just defended their world, they had sparked a revolution in galactic governance. The age of the Council's absolute authority was over. From his flagship, now heading home to a very different galaxy, Thor reflected on the species that had shattered 10 millennia of tradition in less than a year. They would be watching Earth carefully, he decided. Not as a threat, but as a reminder that the universe still held surprises for those who thought they knew everything. The day Earth united against the galaxy would indeed never be forgotten, but not for the reasons anyone had expected.